affection or allowed to be affectionate with your partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm trying to do is get these kids before they can go to bars and bring them to a place where they can hold hands in public. They can kiss at the library. They can kiss at the grocery store. You know what I mean? They can never worry about, oh, I can't reach out to you right now because who might be watching.
Yeah.
And see how that's their relationship with alcohol. Like, fuck, you want to know why queers drink a lot? Well, because the only place we were allowed to kiss our partner was in a fucking bar.
Exactly.
Like, so yeah, maybe we attached our intimacy to our alcohol. Maybe, you know, like maybe we fucked up.
Yeah. Also, let's remember that for years, people wondered why the gay bars stayed open 24/7. There was no days off on holidays. And I'm like, well, a lot of these people would go to the gay bar on Christmas because that's their family. They had nowhere else to go. Their family shunned them. And, you know, that's why they, you know, they were always open.
They're an instrumental part. They're an instrumental part of our culture. Like there's no denying that. And I love them. And I still go to them. And we have a partnership with the Provincetown Brewing Company here, and they're raising money for my charity. And like, I'm not saying, you know, people shouldn't drink, whatever. That's up to you. That's your journey, whatever. What I'm saying is, as a society, I want gay kids to not feel like they have to go to a bar to develop into their sexuality and their humanity organically.
Yeah.
Right. And so I found a place here. Is it perfect? No, it's very white. Is, you know, I mean, there's other, I can guarantee you won't get bullied for being gay here, you know, but maybe not if you're, you know, not a white, thin, you know what I mean? Like there's other issues, but it's a safe space, and it's a beautiful place, and nature's very healing. And we had some kids who were on a couple different anxiety meds, and then they got here and like were able to not take them, and with a counselor and all of that, because people just weren't fucking staring at them all the time and saying mean things to them, which like who, you know, like, and people just blossomed. Truthfully, just getting the chance to fucking breathe. And they're all really fucking successful at life right now. And I couldn't be prouder. And I didn't do any of that. I just raised some fucking money and made sure that the kids had some space to breathe. We had some kids who came as trans and ended up being like, actually, no, I'm not trans. Right. We had a kid come who had just never heard the term non-binary before, really. Right. And so you've got a well-intended guidance counselor somewhere in a small town who's like trying to be supportive of this trans person. And, you know, it's like, if you're not this or this, you must be this. And it's like, no, there's a spectrum in here. And this is a feminine boy. That's what he's decided, that's where he's come to now. Right. In his own discovery. But he needed that experience of freedom to like figure it out and like not, you know, just like be and go through it. Lord, I don't know. I think it's just so important that they have the opportunity to explore and feel safe in doing so.
Yeah.
And I happen to live in a town that really benefits from having a younger workforce come and help in the summertime, and it's win-win. And it's really good for these kids to see themselves represented in you know, in $1 million mansions and working hard and like just living life and not being an outsider. It's a community where you're not an outsider. You are the majority. The gay people are the majority in Provincetown.
Yeah.
And gay
and the straight people that are there are aware too. And I mean, no one's going to it's part of QAnon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know what? There are a couple of those too. And, you know,
really?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, you know, the Outer Cape is a funny place. It's like all of it's like P-Town, Truro. It's like including Kenmore and, you know, and all these other suburbs of your town. And it's just interesting because like, there's definitely those people here, right? I mean, I'm not saying there's definitely not a ton, right? They're definitely here. Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. I had a thought about it. And then what was the last thing you said?
Well, because I was saying that if you're going to go to P-Town on vacation as a straight, whatever, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You're not going to be going and then like, oh my God, these gay people are everywhere. I mean, you kind of would.
Every now and again, someone
you'll get a few that's like, how the fuck did I get here?
Every now and again, every now and again, you definitely get a few of those. Every now and again, there's also the people who just don't go into P-Town, right? Because the National Seashore, the Cape Cod National Seashore, 44,000 of beautiful, beautiful acres of dunes and forests and everything. You know, if you're an RVer and you want to go, you can camp right on the seashore. That's a thing.
Okay.
But they don't often go into P-Town, right? Like they don't like.
Oh, okay.
Every now and again, you'll see a Confederate flag drive by and you're like, what? You know, my favorite thing is always like, hey, there's a guy in a motorcycle and there's a small street that you roll up on and people are always walking by and very beach towny. And this guy was on the street and he had his thing. And I said, hey, where in the South are you from? He's like, what? And I was like, where in the South are you from? And he got really frustrated. He turned off his motorcycle. I was like, where in the South are you from? And he's like, what? And I pointed because he had a Confederate flag like bandana on his handlebars.
Oh,
like, where in the South are you from? He's like, oh, I'm not. I was like, oh, you're just a fucking racist.
yeah.
And I just, like kept going because you don't see those often, and you know we don't.
Well, right, and I mean Rochester upstate. I mean, we have a lot like on the outskirts of here that are, you know, I've seen plenty of Confederate flags driving by on a truck,
which is
but
asinine.
not so much lately. I honestly, I feel like they've put those away. They're still flying the Trump flag, but I feel like
because it's the new Confederate flag.
Yeah, you're right.
They basically were just like, oh no, it's the same. You know, it's so funny to me, like how, like, his flagging is so much of a like has always been such a gay culture thing, and it's just like so funny to me to see people who are like, oh man, you really have tied your identity to that flag. Wow, you know, and like that's what we did. We did the same fucking thing with rainbows.
Absolutely,
you know? Like,
absolutely.
It's just interesting. Like now we're all just like, all right, now we're just different tribes with different flags, and every 8 years, one of us goes into a closet. Okay, right? Like, because that's all that happens.
Yeah, you know, speaking of like you know, gay bars, obviously, I feel like maybe I'm just aged out of going to the gay bars here, but there's not many left in Rochester. We used to have a lot more, and I think about this because my daughter, who's 25 now, my God, this is my youngest, and she is gay, and I asked her, you know, do you want to come to the gay pride parade? This was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and help me hand out flyers for the pizza shop, you know, because we do the parade every year. We're in it. Yeah. And she's like, Mom, I don't understand why you all feel the need to gather. I said, bitch. I said, why? Oh, same with the gay bar. Like they don't go to gay bars. Like they go everywhere now. And she's like, I don't know why there has to be like a bar where we all have to gather. But all of her friends think the same way. Now it's good that they're so accepted that they can go anywhere. Yes. But part of me feels like that bond and that like going, it's gone. I mean, it's just, she's missing that. She's missing. There's good and bad, right?
I think there is, because it is nice to know that she doesn't need to have that like, oh, wow, look at the experience. Look at the different places you can go and get drunk now. You know, like look at the wide range. And that, I mean,
she's not a big drinker, but
no, right.
Also, but I'm just saying, it's so weird that like her entire age group is not about like, oh, we're going to go to the gay bar. Like they go everywhere. I mean, I remember when she first got a girlfriend, and she was still in high school. And I remember being so nervous that like, oh, something, you know, not an eye was batted, Kristen. Nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. And there are places where that is very real. And then there's also places where it's just
not.
It's not that. I went back to, so we did have a film crew follow me, us on tour, Loose in the Bible Belt. And we might have like a short 20-minute documentary coming out.
Okay.
I went back to my old high school in Louisiana.
Yeah.
and I asked, is it Loyola College Preparatory? I went to a Jesuit school. I asked the now principal, who used to be the football coach, like it's so Southern.
Yeah.
And, you know, I said, how many gay kids are in the school? And he said, none. So how many kids are in the school? Like 440 something. And then he was like, well, none that I know of. And I was like, well, that's because they don't feel safe. And and I genuinely feel for these people, because they will lose their jobs. It's a Catholic diocese. you know, and I know these people are good people. I know they were kind to me. I know they were not tolerating any suffering, any fools when I was there. But now they're in a position of power, and you're like, you know, so I guess it is changed in a lot of places. And I think that's the part of why I do the program is I can't believe it hasn't changed there.
Yep.
So
I absolutely, I have, somebody I met, I play video games, and I met someone online, you know, playing video games, and, she's only 27 or 28, and she lives in Georgia. And I mean, her parents tried to send her to get conversion therapy.
yeah.
I mean, and I'm like, I guess you know, being up here where it seems to be obviously right, you know, it's very accepted. Rochester's always been very liberal, though, very good, kind to the, you know, but I guess I lost sight of people still having that serious struggle. I mean, conversion therapy, like that's like, I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah,
I mean, thinking
it's still
20 years
thing.
ago. Yeah.
It's still a thing. And that's part of why, like the work that, excuse me, the work I did with Loose in the Bible Belt, like that stuff was like, hey, like, can we just talk about religion a little bit? Because it's making us actually torture each other. Like, could we actually like just take a minute and have a chat about what maybe this means and like what's being sold to you, you know, to stoke donations and to make sure you're afraid and, you know, to make sure you can buy your way into heaven or, you know,
and I need to really not lose sight, you know what I mean? Because of my daughter, I saw that she really didn't have any struggles. Thank God. I was paranoid for nothing. I also raised a pretty strong, badass kid. I got to give it
you
to
did.
You know, but I think I've definitely have lost sight of other struggles. You know what I mean? Struggles of other young people in different areas. You know, just like the ones that you help. You know,
it's well, in the same way that, you know, we say these kids can't really imagine, you know, what it gets better looks like. How can people who grow up in a place where it's better imagine that people are still getting treated that way?
Yeah. I mean,
right? Like it almost, it does seem like, wow, wait, what?
Yeah. And even if you are in a place that is very accepting, still when you're 18, 17, you're still learning so much. And, you know, they're not able to like handle all their emotions yet. They're still too young to handle all of it too. So I really think even if it is accepted, they still are learning everything about themselves. Just like you said, this, you know, the one person thought they were trans, and then they're like, no, I'm not, you know, I'm not binary. But like, that's all something that you could feel completely different between 16 and 18. You know, you grow in between and things change and, you know, things you want a change.
Yes.
You know, and right. And this,
you should be allowed. I mean, I think that's like, again, like I always go back to this concept of spectrum. Like everything is and like you might be over here and you might be over here and it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. If it moves, imagine you could move on it and maybe, whoa, crazy. Like we're not these binary and the stagnant, like just you're this rigid thing. Here, we've expanded your life from through modern medicine and technology. We've expanded the human existence from like 35 years to like 85 years, but do the same fucking thing still. No, we get to do more shit now. We live longer. We evolve more. Like you live longer, you evolve a little bit more. You get to do more things. You get to try out more things. You get to not be in this, like you do this, you marry this, you get this job, you die. Like fuck off. One day I'm going to be a bartender, and then the next day I'm going to start a not-for-profit, and then I'm going to do comedy for a little while, and fuck this. It made me personally, I like ladies. I seem to like them a lot. I haven't ever happened into.
You're not going back.
It hasn't happened. I'm kind of mad. There's a part of me that feels like that's the highest evolutionary spot, right? And like, why can't I get there? But like, boy smells gross me out, like genuinely repel me, and I think that's just chemistry.
Right.
And you know, I am not attracted. No, I this is where PC culture just came in, right? I was like, I am not attracted to what I think are testosterone chemical smells. Like that's what I think is the thing that makes me go, ugh, right? Like, but you got to be careful because who's what? Like I won't say men. I think that sometimes Stinky testosterone smells turn me off. I like a good smelling lady friend.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I have